that you'll find quite interesting. This person went in with the vehicle to the car dealership after they had bought it. They had it for a couple weeks. And I said, bring it by, let me look at it, and run my dealer level scanner on it, and, you know, see what all needs to be done on it. And so I said, oh no, I'm going to take it to the dealer and go from there. So they had water in the headlight. The headlights were glazed over, the plastic headlights. Bad fuel leak, bad fuel. It was just reeking. It smelled terrible when you drive it and everything. And so, um, and had problems because they were putting gas in while the car was running. They would leave it running at the fuel pump and put gas in, and that's really bad. You're, if you read the signs, it says don't use your phone there, don't leave your car running. I'm like, did you buy a 61 Ford Falcon or what? What do you mean? And I said, well, you could do that in the old days with the old cars, but these cars don't like it. And especially when you take that fuel cap off, you're losing pressure in the fuel system. And the computer goes crazy, and then the engine computer, it will control the engine to compensate for all the losses, and it just goes wild. And you get all kinds of problems. It's not necessary to leave the car running unless it just won't start, but it's really dangerous to do so when you're fueling it. But and then they were saying, well, I have trouble starting it, and I'm like, they're like, I have to give it gas. I said, you shouldn't have to give it gas. It's fuel injected. And I said, that's a fuel problem. It could be fuel filter. It could be, throttle body needs to be cleaned. A lot of things. Um, but always remember that when one thing goes wrong, that computer goes wild. And you'll throw a bunch of codes. But so let's go over this. Okay, so they did it scan on the car for $99. All right. Let's see, I gotta zoom this in a little bit. Scan on here for $99. And then they did, let's see. Oh, the water leaking. They called me and they said, we've got water in the floorboard. And they took it to one shop, and the guy says, oh, it's heater core. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, is it coming out of the passenger side? Because most heater cores are on the passenger side. Now, this particular car, it's a VW, so it's on the passenger side, but more towards the middle. But if it malfunctions, it should drain into the passenger floor. And I said, the other thing is, the air conditioner will tend to clog up, and there's a drain underneath the car. Does it drain when you run the air conditioner? She's like, no. And I said, well, then it's probably draining into the car. And because they said it was driving into the driver's side floorboard. And so uh, I said, the water will load up in there and run back and forth in the dashboard. When you turn corners, you can hear it sloshing. And it's really bad on the electronics. And then it's like raining on your feet, and then it gets really bad, and it gets really wet. And when you close it up at night and go to sleep, when you open it up in the morning, it smells like an old boat. Okay, and then the headlights. Let me see if we can zoom this back out here. Okay, we got headlight situation, and so system's running lean at idle. Vehicle doesn't want to start after getting gas. Parking brake light blinks a lot. So they did let's see. So they did the dealer level scan 99. They cleaned the sunroof drains, which when they do that, they take a big long pipe cleaner tube that has like, it's like a baby bottle cleaner. It has brushes on it, and it's, like 3 foot long, and they push it through the holes in the back of the um, sunroof in the backpack towards the rear seats, and they push this thing down because it drains down through the back of the car, and it goes through the body, the top of the body, and that's kind of a big deal. And then uh, so they charge $62.50 for that service, $99 for the scanning. Then they claimed that it needed both headlights for $9.89, which I can get them for about $200 each. Dealer price $989.66, not including tax. Or labor. Okay. Then I think a lot of the cylinder misfire is from the fuel problem. Okay, in the fuel problem, let's see, they said it needs an evap canister purge valve for $1,190.40. Yeah. Okay, and that's for the fuel thing that's going on, the fuel stink and all that. And the parking light, that module was $12.86. So they brought it to me, and I said, let me look at what they gave you. And I said, let me tell you what I think. I said, I think you should go cheapest parts first. That's as a rule. I went back and I looked at the fuel cap, and it looked really old, and it wasn't sealing good. And I said, your first problem is the fuel cap. And I said, really? And I said, yeah. So I called around. $27 for a fuel cap for that car, for VW. And I mean, my locking gas cap, I just bought the most expensive one recently, and that was $27 for locking one. So I said that first thing I would do is put a cap on it. And so we called over there, and they were closing in 3 minutes, and I said, sometime this week, as soon as you get a chance, put a cap on it. And so they went to put a cap on it. It doesn't smell of gas anymore, and it runs a lot better. So let's see. So $27 fixed, and $1,190.40 problem that the dealer diagnosed, and that's without labor. I took my buffer out, and I buffed the headlights, which took about 20 minutes. And I used a drill and drilled a couple holes in the one light that was retaining water. And these are projector lights on this car. I'm not sure if they're HID. I believe they are. And because I told them, I said, well, I can get you new headlights, but I could probably buff them out pretty good and drain them. And you just want to keep them dry because it burns the bulbs out too. Fingerprints and wet really messes with those newer type bulbs for the headlights. I said, other than that, you may have a problem with the HID system. Them connects on the back of the headlights may be bad. Who knows? But first thing is first. So I buffed them out for like 20 minutes. And then I drilled a few holes in the one. And in a week, that one headlight has already dried out. And the headlights look fantastic. Saved $989.66, not counting labor. That's just parts. So do you believe that? So there's like 1,000 there. And where's this other one? And the evac canister. That's like $1,200 there. So you're talking $2,200 savings for a little bit of chemical to buff the headlights with. 10 minutes of my time to put a couple holes in the headlight, and $27 for a fuel cap. How you like that? That's right. So be very careful fooling with these dealerships. I guess they're really desperate right now. This is a big name dealership out in Alabama. And that's a shame. That is just shameful and abusive. This whole bill, if this person would have done this whole bill with the 99 scan, the 6250, the draining the sunroof drains, the $1,000 for the headlights, not counting labor and tax, the $1,200 for canister and purge valve, not counting labor and tax, and the parking brake light, parking control module for about $1,300. Okay, right there. That would have been like $8,000 in repairs. But they did skate. They had the supplies for this work they did with the scan and cleaning the drains and the sunroof. The supplies were $3.13 because that was soap. And I paid $164.63. Yeah. So be very careful with these dealerships because they must be really desperate for money. That's insane. It's just pure insanity. 2 headlights. $1,000. So, don't be fooled. And I'll talk to you later. Stay safe. And watch my car vlogs. They might help you. Talk to you later.